That seems safe. Very safe.
How's my parking job?
Perfect as always.
Perfect as always. Showed up right in time for glory hour, golden hour. So this video is going to be a follow-up video for all the people that were hounding me about what to do with my new, somebody scratch the paint, new masterpiece of a truck. I'll insist you guys go back and rewatch the video of picking this truck up because it was truly a score off of Marketplace. But honestly didn't know anything about the truck until the deal was already made and had to fire it up on site, new ignition. Still a bunch of back fees and baggage that goes with a truck like this. But in my defense, the idea of using this for a donor, well, that's where this truck comes into play. So let's give this one a look over. So let's do a little walk around. I built this truck about a year ago. It took me 2 years to build it. It is a 1997 12 valve Cummins. It's basically the same truck as this one, just with 12 valve in it. A couple other differences. What I mean by that is I used a whole 97 truck for a donor so I could revive this 1966 crew cab Dodge. By doing that, it saved a bunch of time by not utilizing the old junky frame that would have been underneath the 66. I used the 97 frame. When I use the 97 frame, now I don't have to make engine mounts, transmission mounts. I don't have to do anything to convert to coil front suspension. You name it, the list goes on. Doing this kind of conversion saves so much time in the long run. It's unbelievable, because then you can go to the really time consuming part, and that's where body work is. So let's walk around this rig just a little bit. I've heard guys, you know, say, let's see, how would you put this? If you're going to use a donor truck for anything, use a nice donor. And the donor I used for this crew cab, it was relatively not that nice. It was a pretty rough truck, and it had been used and traveled on many dirt roads, so a lot of the suspension components were shot, and some of them are still a little bit shot. But it had a 5-speed and a strong running 12-valve engine with 200-ish thousand miles on it. Did have a ding on the title, but that was probably one of the bigger reasons why I decided to use the donor truck to build this truck up. Got a 215 E-pump underneath, and crawl in there and look at the interior. All this restoration of this truck was on the second channel of the Samson Andrew account. All the way down to the air condition and the cruise control from the second gen, all molded into this truck. Now, I paid more for this donor truck than I paid for that truck over there, because I knew this truck, and I still got a pretty good deal on it. The crew cab on top, though, that cost more than both the donors combined, and I still got a good deal on it. But you can see, just a simple 12-valve in there. Got the timing cranked up just a little bit, boost screwed a little, some stuff over there, stuff over there. It gets up and goes pretty good. But here comes the inherent problem. This truck right here was designed basically around that 12-valve engine, and they did an awesome job at fitting this 12-valve in here. And I don't think anybody's really gone to the lengths that we're simply going to make in today's video. The cooling pack, all that stuff. This is factory. Mechanical fan, mechanical clutch, tried and true, old school. The core support, it wraps around the intercooler, so that everything fits in here a lot better. That one, I got multiple layers before I can even get to the radiator. I had to put the intercooler behind that. I still got condenser and everything. This is so much. People don't like to give enough credit to the auto manufacturers for doing stuff like this, because it fits in here really nice. So we'll bounce back and forth a little bit. And like, the idea of a simple person would be to fix this truck up, and I've done that a bunch of times, and I'm not against that. I'll go the simple route. But the part of me that knows a good donor that could go towards, you know, this truck fixed up in the teens, maybe high teens, and that's with 20 grand worth of effort, money, and all that. You take one of these trucks and transplant that all into here, or transplant one of these trucks onto that. That makes more sense. Then you got something that's a lot more profitable, a lot more valuable, but there's a lot of inherent differences. The creature comforts, you know, the door gaps and seals and stuff, you got to put in a bunch of work. So at the end of the day, it's still a 50-50 shot. If you want to save this truck, which you would have to get rid of the bed, get rid of the front clip, the whole interior, and then you still got to find a 50-plus-year-old truck to transplant on it. What's going on with the camera? Not only in the comments, but through other means of communication, reach out wanting to buy this truck, and offered some pretty nice price tags on it. But it's all comes down to, well, the return on investment would be kind of nice, just to double, triple, quadruple your money on this, and that'd be fun. But at the end of the day, the big picture could be way more than that to build something like this truck. which, I mean, these things pull more than a Dodge Charger in some situations now. And all it really takes is to do all the body work and everything that you would do to it anyway, and then simply transplant it on top of one of these. And I'll show you a route that a lot of people are going, and I got a truck over here that I practice this route. But what you do, and I know this for a fact, that the floor pan on this truck, lengthwise and everything, via using the second gen carpet on that truck, is almost spot on. So the floor pan on this rig, if you cut right here, cut and get the whole firewall, cut at the back of the cab, you lift the second gen shell off of this. I'm gonna make it sound simpler than it is, but you take a swept line, preferably another Dodge product, because trying to mix the breeds will get you in trouble with the community. And then you take a swept line and set it on top of this. That way you still maintain all the floor pan, your heating and air and everything, column shit, or your floor pan for four-wheel drive. Everything is already there compared to what I did on this truck, because I didn't know back then. I didn't have the skill or even the mindset to have the skill. This one straight up has, this is original floor and everything for this truck. I redid the rockers, but that's about it. And then you cut right here on this truck, cut the whole firewall and everything out, and set it down on there. I probably have between 20 and 30 hours just in the shifter, in the four-wheel drive shifter linkage, to adapt it into this truck. Okay? Cutting the whole size and everything up, making the brackets and everything, extending the linkage. It's crazy how that time gets consumed. So we'll go over and look at the truck that I practice this technique on, that I would like to do on this. But I don't actually have a truck to go on this yet, so it'll be something down the line. So let's go over there and look at this one. All right, so I think a lot of people just think that I'm not in the shop anymore. Not in the shop any less, I would think, but I just haven't filmed that much more. But this is my 67. It's a D100. I got this bad boy from a job. A gentleman donated it to the channel, and it's been on the channel several times. And we wanted to revive this bad Jackson. And if you notice right here, it's not sitting on 67 running gear anymore. I bought a mint second gen bed, and it came with a wrecked truck. So I have all this filmed and edited to make a video on it, but look underneath here. It is sitting on a, I think it's a 2001 Dodge 1500 four-wheel drive, frame, running gear, all that. Got the cooling pack. It all fits in a lot better when it's a dang gas engine, because those are way smaller than the Cummins. So everything, all the creature comforts and everything will follow from the second gen into this. Oh, we gotta go that door because the handle, the linkage fell off. But this was my test subject to go this route, because I didn't want to start this on somebody else's truck that's hiring me to do this job. But look in here. I don't have the step there anymore. It's straight transition in there. So this is the floor pan from basically a second gen, but a 1500. I don't like to call gasser second gens because it's a second gen Cummins, not a, what, anyway. But this one, I tried to see how well I could get the dash in there, and I mean, it's in there. I have to put a relief on the door. This project is in the Frankenstein mode, but I need to come up with some kind of an idea for the bed. You can find a long box or a flat bed or something. Come on over. But I have the steering column and everything from the second gen in here. And you can make this dash fit a little bit better than I did. That's actually quite a bit of time just trying to figure all this out. But I got the floor pan, four-wheel drive shifter, everything is in here, and it's so much simpler. If you guys ask nice, I'll post footage of this on this channel, because it was kind of a fun swap and kind of made myself laugh because I did this in a week. I thought it was kind of cool. Took two basically useless crapper trucks and we got this nice little run around the yard kind of deal. And then the folks that say, oh, you need more shop stuff. I just need to edit more shop stuff, all right? It comes down to the time management and lack of free time. But might have showed this at one point, 97 truck I need to paint mechanically, besides the turbo that leaked and it ran away the other day, and then didn't stop. Anyway, it didn't kill it, but that was sketchy. I gotta paint that one and swap a turbo, and this is my current big project that I'm hoping will be nicer than the crew cab swept line. But that's a factory four-wheel drive crew cab frame for a Ford. That's why I painted the 12 valve that's going to go in it Ford-ish blue. So, moto crap. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Take the crew cab tonight. You realize this, right?
I did not know that.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny. It's like a lot of my projects, people ask, well, why don't you drive that more? And it's like, well, I got 2 years. I've crawled in and out and all over this truck. Like, I've been to war with this truck already. I already have a bunch of miles with it. And it's like, after that amount of time, for one, I don't want somebody to freaking bump it in a parking lot. And two, just a little bit wore out with it to start off with. I'd rather move on to something else. And, well, we'll take it tonight. It's a nice evening. Another problem with these things is, from factory, they're just so goofy that they're not really weather tight. I got all new weather stripping. They're not that weather tight. But I think ultimately it would be nice to save this one. But as for a donor platform, this thing it's so nice for a donor. And it just, I don't know, what's the word? It's how it's gonna be. I don't know. It's got to be cut up. It's not nice enough up top. I'd have to basically buy a whole nother truck to save this truck. And that just, if I was going to do that, why not put it on something like this that's going to be equivalent to, I don't know, quarter of a house? Why not go that route? So I'm going to end this video here. Let me know what you guys think about this. If you haven't seen the videos restoring this, again, it was on the second channel. The restoration on that video actually did pretty good for being on the tiny channel, so that worked out. But yeah, anything else I should say? Glory hour is almost over.
You know, just look at the glory hour.
Here, I'll fire it up so everybody can watch it. Oh. So many things you got to do to a truck after you've done all the things like this to it. It's like stuff didn't stick on the dash. Bandit, stay down. Don't you get in here, dude. But anyway, I don't got anything else to say. I just wanted to prove my point a little bit. Dodge did a really nice job building that second gen truck. If they would have made it out of crew cab, it would have been such a gold mine of a truck. But they dropped the ball big time. And the fact that they had crew cabs in the 60s, in the 70s, and the 80s, and then through arguably one of the better generations of the truck, based on what the engine had, no emissions, they dropped the ball and didn't have no crew cab. I don't understand that. So this is us making second gens great again. We're going to put crew cabs on top of them. We'll see you guys in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Later. Curious to read your comments. See you guys on the next one. Later.